I was talking to your silence, like you still could answer me. Every word I kept on saying fell into an empty sea. You were standing right beside me, but a million miles away. I was holding on to something that was already slipping away. I felt the distance in your touch, but I kept giving you too much. I was loving you alone, giving everything I own, every heartbeat, every breath, trying to bring us back from death. But you were never really there, just a shadow I held near. After loving you alone, I made excuses for your absence, turned your cold into a phase. I kept hoping you would find me through the mess you never faced. I was fighting for your attention while you barely looked my way. I was drowning in your ocean, you were drifting far away. I told myself you'd come around, but you never heard a sound. I was loving you alone, giving everything I own, every heartbeat, every breath, trying to bring us back from death. But you were never really there, just a shadow I held near. Now I'm standing on my own after loving you alone. If love was meant for two hearts, why did I play both parts? I gave you all I had to give, while you forgot how love should live. I was loving you alone till there was no me left to hold. Every piece I gave away left me weaker every day. Now I'm learning how to be someone you'll never see, but it took losing my soul from loving you alone. I called it love, but now I know it was just me loving you alone. You used to look at me like home, like I was never alone. Your eyes would hold me in their light, a place where everything felt right. But something changed without a sound. Your warmth got lost, your love shut down. I reached for you, but all I found was distance pulling us apart. I felt you fading day by day, while I kept begging you to stay. You turned away when I needed you the most, left me holding on to ghosts of a love that couldn't stay. You turned away like my heart was yours to break, like our love was just a mistake. And now I'm lost in yesterday, since you turned away. I stayed through every silent night, tried to make wrong feel right. I carried us through every fall, but I was never there at all. Your words grew distant, cold, unclear, while I was drowning in my fear. I called your name, you didn't hear. Or maybe you just didn't care. I gave you everything I knew, but it was never enough for you. same, holding on to all the pain of the love you threw away. You turned away, but my heart still calls your name. Even though it's not the same, I'm still lost inside the day you turned away. No goodbye, no reason why, just your silence passing by. And I'm still here, trying to stay in the moment you turned away. You didn't leave in a single night, no sudden and no final fight. Just little cracks I couldn't see, breaking everything in me. Your voice grew softer far away, like you had nothing left to say. I held on tighter every day while you were slowly drifting away. I felt it slipping through my hands, a love I couldn't understand. You slowly left, piece by piece, breath by breath. I was holding on to you while you were letting go of us. You slowly left, like a shadow fading out, and I was screaming inside, but never made a sound. Now I'm lost in what we were and everything that's gone. You slowly left while I was still holding on. I made excuses for the space, tried to ignore the change in your face. I told myself it's just a phase, but deep inside I felt the ache. You stopped reaching for my hand, stopped trying to understand, and every moment that you stayed felt like you were already gone. I was fighting for something real while you forgot how we should feel. You slowly left, piece by piece, breath by breath. I was holding on to you while you were letting go of us. You slowly left, like a shadow fading out, and I was screaming inside, but never made a sound. Now I'm lost in what we were and everything that's gone. You slowly left while I was still holding on. If you had walked away that night, maybe I could've learned to fly, but you stayed just long enough to turn my love into a loss. You slowly left till there was nothing of you here, just echoes drowning in my tears and memories I can't forget. You slowly left, and I'm still trying to understand how you could hold my heart so close and let go of my hand. Now I'm learning how to live with a love that feels so wrong. You slowly left while I was still holding on. No goodbye, no last embrace, just distance written on your face. And I'm still here where you belong, holding on alone. I built a world with you in mind, a future drawn in fragile lines. Every hope, every plan was written softly in your hands. I saw forever in your eyes, believed in all your you and I's. But somewhere in the life we drew, there was no room for me and you. I was dreaming wide awake while you were learning to escape. They were dreams you didn't want, promises you couldn't hold. I was reaching for a life you were never meant to own. I was building us a home. You were already moving on. Now I'm left with all these dreams, dreams you didn't want. I save the words you used to say, like they would never fade away. But even echoes lose their sound when love stops coming back around. I try to fit into your plans, ignored the truth I couldn't stand, that I was loving something real while you were chasing how to feel. I held on tighter every day while you were slipping further away. They were dreams you didn't want, promises you couldn't hold. I was reaching for a life you were never meant to own. I was building us a home. You were already moving on. Now I'm left with all these dreams, dreams you didn't want. If I had known the truth before, I wouldn't have given you so much more. But loving you felt so right then, I'd probably do it all again. They were dreams you didn't want, but they were everything to me. Every piece of who I was, every hope I couldn't keep. Now I'm learning to let go of a life that's come undone. But it hurts to say goodbye to dreams you didn't want. We were never on the same page, just the same story, different endings. And I'm still holding on to dreams you didn't want. We used to speak in always, like time was on our side. Every promise felt unbreakable, every truth we couldn't hide. I held on to your heartbeat like it was mine to keep. But somewhere in the silence, you let our future slip. I didn't see the moment change when love began to fade away. You walked out of forever like it was just a word, like everything we built together was something you never heard. I was holding on to always, you were ready to be free. You walked out of forever and took the rest of me. I replay all the memories like they could bring you back, like somehow I could find a way to fix the love we lacked. Your shadow fills the empty space where you once used to be, and every step I try to take still leads me back to we. standing here, holding on to shattered dreams and everything we were. I was living in a future you no longer could see. You walked out of forever and left words left to me. Always doesn't mean a thing when one heart stops believing. And I'm still here where forever used to be. You said it like it meant nothing, like we were just a passing thing. No trembling voice, no tears to fall, just quiet words that broke it all. I searched your eyes for any sign that losing me would cross your mind, but you just stood there still and strong, like you had known it all along. I was shaking, barely holding on, while you were already gone. Your goodbye was too calm, like it didn't do me harm, like the love we had before wasn't worth fighting for. I was falling all apart while you guarded your heart and walked away so easily. Your goodbye was too calm for me. I replay every word you said, trying to hear what wasn't there. A crack, a pause, a sign you cared, but all I found was empty air. You didn't fight, you didn't stay, you didn't even hesitate. And that's the part that cuts so deep, how letting go came naturally. I gave you all I had inside, you let it go without a fight. Your goodbye was too calm, like it didn't do me harm, like the love we had before wasn't worth fighting for. I was falling all apart while you guarded your heart and walked away so easily. Your goodbye was too calm for me. If you had broken down and cried, maybe I could say we tried, but you just let me fade away like I was nothing you would say. Your goodbye was too calm, and I'm still feeling all the storm. Every tear I couldn't hide, every piece of me that died. Now I'm left with all this pain while you walk away unchanged, and I don't know how to be when your goodbye was too calm for me. No shaking hands, no last embrace, just silence written on your face. And I'm still here, trying to see how your goodbye was so easy. We were standing on the edge of something we could say. I was reaching for your hand, but you just pulled away. Every word I tried to say fell somewhere in between what we were and what we lost, and everything unseen. I was fighting for your heart while you were tearing us apart. You gave up on us kept trying to believe that we could find our way through the silence and the space that grew a little more each day. I turned your distance into time. I thought we'd be okay, but love can't live where only one is begging it to stay. I gave you more than I could give while you forgot how love should live. You gave up on us like it was nothing to lose, like all the love we built together was just something you could choose. I was holding on to hope, you were letting go of trust. Now I'm here with all this pain, 'cause you gave up on us. If love was meant to be this hard, why was I the only one who tried? I would've stayed through anything, but you were already saying goodbye. You gave up on us, but I'm still holding what remains. Every memory, every scar, every tear that knows your name. And even if I let you go, there's a part that's still in love, but I'll never understand why you gave up on us. We could have been something if you had stayed, but you chose to walk away. And I'm still here where we used to be. I traded my colors to paint your sky. Gave you my breath just to keep yours high. Now I'm standing in a room with no air, reaching for a ghost that was never there. I poured my ocean into your cup, but you never drank, you just watched it dry up. I loved you into nothing, I gave till I was gone. I built you a palace, now I'm sleeping on the lawn. I erased every line of who I used to be, just to make sure there was room for you and me. But the more of me I gave, the less you seemed to see. I loved you into nothing, and nothing's left of me. The silence is heavy where my voice used to live. I've got no more sorries or secrets to give. I'm a hollowed out frame of a man you once knew, a beautiful shipwreck all because of you. You took the best parts and you called them your own, and you left me here shivering, skin and bone. Is this what you wanted? A shadow in the hall, to watch someone fly, then watch someone fall. I didn't just lose you, I lost my own name. Stoke in the fire till I became the flame. I loved you into nothing, I gave till I was gone. I built you a palace, still buy the coffee that you like the most, and I sit in the kitchen with your favorite ghost. I haven't moved the shoes you left by the door, because moving them makes it real. And I'm not sure if I can handle the weight of an empty space where I used to wake up and see your face. They say time is a healer, a bridge to the light, but I'm still standing in the middle of the night, holding a match to a candle that's dead, repeating the things that we never said. I wasn't ready to be over, I wasn't ready to let go. I had 1,000 more stories I wanted us to know. You turned the page while I was still on the start. Now I'm holding the pieces of a half-finished heart. The world keeps moving, the seasons get cold, but I'm still clinging to a hand I can't hold. No, I wasn't ready to be over. I saw your car at the light yesterday, and for a second the gray sky turned back to blue-gray. I reached for my phone to tell you the news, then remembered that we is a word I can't use. It's like learning to breathe with only one lung, like a song that's been cut while it's still being sung. Was it easy for you to just close the book, to walk out the door without one final look? Because I'm still caught in the how and the why. I was prepared for the fight, but never the goodbye. I wasn't ready to be over, I wasn't ready to let go. I had 1,000 more stories I wanted us to know. You turned the page while I was still on the start. Now I'm holding the pieces of a half-finished heart. The world keeps moving, the seasons get cold, but I'm still clinging to a hand I can't hold. No, I wasn't ready to be over. I'm still here, waiting for a sorry, or can we try again? But the silence is the only thing that's left of my friend. No, I wasn't ready, I'm still not ready to be over. I watch for the tremor, I look for the crack. I waited for something to hold us both back. I thought there'd be lightning, a crash or a roar, before you walked out and then closed the door. But you moved like water, so steady and still, while I'm left here climbing an impossible hill. There's no shattered glass on the hardwood floor, no marks on the wall from the slamming door, just the sound of the clock and the click of the key and the ghost of the person you used to be. You left without breaking, you left without a sound, while my entire world was crashing to the ground. How do you walk with such grace through the ruins, like you didn't just kill everything we were doing? I'm over here bleeding and falling apart, but you left with a hole in a steady heart. Yeah, you left without breaking, but you broke me. Your side of the bed is as smooth as a lake, not a single impression or a lingering ache. You packed up sweaters, you cleared out the shelf and you didn't leave even a piece of yourself. I wish you had screamed, I wish you had cried, anything just to show me you felt it inside. Is it a gift or a curse to be so untouched, to give up a life that I love so much? I'm a mess of a man, I'm a storm in a cage, while you're already turning a brand new page. You left without breaking, you left without a sound, while my entire world was crashing to the ground. How do you walk with such grace through the ruins, like you didn't just kill everything we were doing? I'm over here bleeding, I'm falling apart, but you left with a hole and a steady heart. Yeah, you left without breaking, but you broke me. Not a tear in your eye, not a hitch in your breath, just a quiet and clinical version of death. You left without breaking, and I don't know how to fix what's left. I stood by the window, I counted your steps, the weight of the secrets that neither of us kept. I waited for some kind of pause at the gate, a moment of doubt or a flicker of hate. But your shoulders were square and your stride was so even, like you practiced the art of a graceful leaving. Not a glance at the garden we planted in May, not a look at the porch where we'd sit and just stay. You didn't check if I was watching you go, you just walked like there's nothing left here to know. You walked out without looking, not once did you turn to see if the bridges were starting to burn. I was screaming in silence, I was begging with my eyes, but you were already under some different skies. How do you leave a whole life in the rear view without checking to see if I'm still near you? Yeah, you walked out without looking, and I'm still looking for you. The gravel didn't crunch, the air didn't stir, everything sharp that used to be blurred. I'm memorizing the back of your coat, the ghost of a goodbye stuck in my throat. You didn't fumble for keys or a trip on the stone, you just moved like a person who's always been alone. If you look back, you would have seen me collapse, you would have seen all the miles and the permanent gaps, but you kept your eyes on the road up ahead, leaving the us and the we for the dead. You walked out without looking, not once did you turn to see if the bridges were starting to burn. I was screaming in silence, I was begging with my eyes, but you were already under some different skies. How do you leave a whole life in the rear view without checking to see if I'm still near you? Yeah, you walked out without looking, and I'm still looking for you. Not a flinch, not a sway, just a straight line leading you further away. You walked out without looking. still reaching for your hand in the middle of the night. Before I remember, I lost that right. The toothbrush is gone, the cupboard is bare, but I still smell your perfume hanging in the air. It's a cool kind of magic, a trick of the light. How you stayed in my head but slipped out of my sight. Yesterday you were a person I could touch, a laugh I could hear, a heart I love too much. But today the wind blows a little more cold, and I'm left with a story that's already told. Oh, I wasn't ready for the used to be was, to lose all that we did and the just because. One day you were my future, my solid, my glory. Now you're just a chapter in a bittersweet story. My heart skipping beats that it used to keep steady, because love became memory before I was ready. Yeah, I loved you in person, I loved you so true, but now love is just something I remember of you. I walk past the cafe where we used to sit. They've painted the walls and the candles are lit, but the ghost of our laughter is trapped in the wood. I trade all my tomorrows to go back if I could, to when you were a heartbeat, not just a name. Before the fire went out and I froze in the flame. How do I talk to a ghost in a frame when the lips that I kissed don't whisper my name? I'm holding on tight to a fading Polaroid, trying to fill up this beautiful void. Oh, I wasn't ready for the years to be was, to lose all that we did and the just because. One day you were my future, my solid, my glory. Now you're just a chapter in a bittersweet story. My heart skipping beats that it used to keep steady, because love became memory before I was ready. Yeah, I love you in person, I loved you so true, but now love is just something I remember of you. You're a Sunday morning I can't have back, a faded map, a worn out track. I'm still here, but your history. Love became memory, and now I'm just a memory of me. I watched the paint begin to peel, and the garden turned to brown. I was the last one left in line as the walls came crashing down. My friends all called me crazy, they told me let it go, but I was busy digging roots where nothing else would grow. I ignored the coldness in your touch, the distance in your eyes. I made a home inside a world built out of hollow lies. I thought if I just held on tight, the wind would eventually cease, but I was only trading my sanity for peace. And I stayed until it hurt, I stayed until I broke. I was breathing in the fire while you only saw the smoke. I gave you every drop of red until my heart ran wide, trying to be the morning for a soul that loves the night. I crossed the line of loyalty and walked into the flame. Now I'm just a shadow with a tired, broken name. Yeah, I didn't leave when it was hard, but when the dirt was kicked, I stayed There's a special kind of silence that comes after the scream, the realization that you're drowning in a dead-end dream. I looked into the mirror and I didn't know the face of the person who'd been dying just to keep your steady pace. I polished all your trophies while mine gathered the dust. I sacrificed my I believe to find a you I trust. But you can't fix a person who doesn't want to mend, and you can't find a beginning at the bitter, jagged end. They say that love is patient, they say that love is kind, but they don't mention how it leaves the spirit thin and blind. I stayed past the goodbye, I stayed past the it's through, just to prove how much of me I'd lose to keep you. And I stayed until it hurt. I stayed until I broke. I was breathing in the fire while you only saw the smoke. I gave you every drop of red until my heart ran wide, trying to be the morning for a soul that loves the night. I crossed the line of loyalty and walked into the flame. Now I'm just a shadow with a tired, broken name. Yeah, I didn't leave when it was hard, but when the dirt was kicked, I stayed until the pain was the only thing I picked. The bruises are on the inside, the scars are in my head. I'm finally walking out of the life that we had led. It took a lot of breaking, it took a lot of dirt, but I'm finally leaving because I stayed until it hurt. You were never mine. I'm looking back through the pages of a book I didn't write, chasing after shadows in the middle of the light. I held your hand so tightly, I thought I felt a spark, but I was just a candle you were using in the dark. You were always looking past me at a horizon I couldn't see, while I was building anchors to keep you here with me. I practiced your future, I memorized your face, but I was just a tenant in a temporary space. to tell the mirror that the floor was doing fine, but there's a jagged little fracture running right through every room. A cold and hollow feeling that no candle can consume. I thought that time would act like silk and sew the seams back tight, that we wake up from the wreckage in a softer kind of light. But the cracks are getting wider and the dust is settling deep on all the little secrets that we promised we would keep. It's the love that stayed broken, no matter what we did. The truth we tried to bury, the ghost we tried to rid. We can paint it over gold, we can hide it in the dark, but there's no way to rekindle a dead and frozen spark. I'm tired of the man and I'm tired of the weight, standing in the ruin of a love that met its fate. Yeah, we left the door wide open, but the words were never spoken. It's just a love that stayed broken. We're careful with our movements like we're walking on thin ice, paying for a memory at a soul-destroying price. You don't look me in the eye because you're scared of what you'll see, the hollowed-out reflection of who I used to be. We're just two different people sharing one unhappy bed, holding on to ghosts while the living part is dead. You can't fix a vase once it's shattered on the floor, and you can't find the rhythm in a heart that beats no more. They say that what is broken can be stronger at the end, but they never tell you how it feels when you reach the bitter end, when the glue just doesn't hold and the tape begins to peel, and you finally have to face the way the silence makes you feel. It's the love that stayed broken, no matter what we did. The truth we tried to bury, the ghost we tried to rid. We can paint it over gold, we can hide it in the dark, but there's no way to rekindle a dead and frozen spark. I'm tired of the man and I'm tired of the weight, standing in the ruin of a love that met its fate. Yeah, we left the door wide open, the words were never spoken. It's just a love that stayed broken, so let it stay in pieces. Stop trying to make it fit. The light is gone, and this is it. Love stayed broken, yeah, it stayed broken. Walk past the place we used to go, same old street, but it feels so cold. Even the sky don't look the same, like it forgot how to hold your name. Your laughter used to fill the air, now it's quiet everywhere. I swear I hear you in the breeze, but it just leaves me on my knees. I thought time would ease the pain somehow, but it's only louder now. Nothing feels like before, since you walked out that door. Every color turned to gray, every night feels the same. Nothing sounds like your voice in a world full of noise. I'm just lost in the echo of us, and it's too much. I still keep your side of the bed, like you might come back instead. just keeps spinning in my head. I try to be someone new, but every road leads back to you. No matter how far I run, I'm right where we came undone. They say hearts learn how to mend, but I don't know when. Nothing feels like before since you walked out that door. Even sunlight doesn't stay, it just fades into gray. Nothing sounds like your voice in a world full of noise. I'm still caught in the memory of us, and it's too much. Maybe I held on too tight. Maybe we were never right, but I give anything tonight just to hold you one more time. Even if it breaks again, I relive it just to feel what we had back then. Nothing feels like before. I don't recognize this world. Every moment feels misplaced. Every smile feels erased. Nothing heals like they say. Nothing takes this away. I'm still drowning in everything we were, and it hurts. If this is what moving on means, living without what we used to be, then I'm not sure I'm ready for a life that feels like nothing before. I used to trace the lines upon your palm and think I saw my future in the ink. Your touch was like a prayer, a holy calm. Before the ship began to slowly sink, we swore that we were written in the stone, a permanent devotion head to toe. But now I'm sitting in this room alone, watching all the colors start to go. It didn't happen in a single night. It was 1,000 little cuts out of sight. Now the skin is closed, but the mark is deep, and it's a promise that I couldn't keep. 'Cause love became a scar I have to wear, a jagged little ghost that's always there. It doesn't bleed no more, the sting is gone, but it's the only thing that's holding on. And I try to hide it under sleeves of pride, but I can't wash away the way I died. It's not a badge of honor, it's a war. How beautiful we were before love became a scar. I saw you at the station yesterday. You looked at me like I was someone else. I had a dozen things I wanted to say, but I kept the bitter secrets to myself. I noticed that you've changed your silver ring, the one we bought when we had nothing left. It's funny how a tiny shiny thing can leave a heart so hollow and bereft. Became a scar I have to wear, a jagged little ghost that's always there. It doesn't bleed no more, the sting is gone, but it's the only thing that's holding on. I try to hide it under sleeves of pride, but I can't wash away the way I died. It's not a badge of honor, it's a war. How beautiful we were before Just a map of everywhere we went, of every broken word and every hour spent. It's part of me now. The rough edges, the white lines. Yeah, you're still here, just in the way the skin shines. Love became a scar. Streetlights flickered out about an hour ago, and the neighborhood is wrapped in a silver kind of glow. I'm sitting on the porch steps, pulling at a thread, unable to face the empty side of our king-size bed. There's no one on the sidewalk, there's no one on the street, just the rhythm of the crickets and the pulse of my defeat. But there's a light from up above, a cold and steady eye, cutting through the darkness from the middle of the sky. You've seen a billion heartbreaks since the start of space and time, but tonight is focused solely on this lonely life of mine. I don't have to hide the shaking, I don't have to act so brave, when the only soul around me is a cratered glowing wave. And the moon watched me cry for you tonight, bathed in that pale and lonely light. It didn't turn away, didn't tell me to be strong. It just hung there in silence while I sang my sorrow song. No stars were out to witness, no clouds were passing by. It was just a man in the moon watching me cry. I wonder if you're looking at the same white glowing orb. Does it look like a diamond or a ghost you can't absorb? I told it all the secrets that I couldn't tell your face, about the hollow in my chest and the shadows in this place. I let the salt tracks dry upon my cheeks until they burned, waiting for a message that may never be returned. And the moon watched me cry for you tonight, bathed in that pale and lonely light. It didn't turn away, it didn't tell me to be strong. It just hung there in the silence while I sang my sorrow song. No stars were out to witness, no clouds were passing by. It was just the man in the moon watching me cry. They say the sun brings healing, they say the dawn is new, but I'm terrified of daylight, 'cause it means I'm without you. I'd rather stay right here under the watch of the night, where the only thing that sees me is the source of silver light. The tide is pulling back, the sky is turning gray, and the moon is slowly, sadly fading away. It knows my secret now, it saw the way I broke. It was the only one who listened every time I spoke. The moon watched me cry, yeah, watch me cry. I still wear the bruises bruises of the words that we spoke, like a heavy velvet jacket or a velvet yoke. There's a comfort in the sting and a familiar burn, in the lessons that I know I'm never gonna learn. I could've chosen peace, I could've chosen light, but I kept running back to the teeth of the fight. Your touch was a fever, your love was a scar, but you were always the brightest and the coldest star. I'm addicted to the way that you let me down, to the silence that follows when you leave town. It's a sick kind of rhythm, a beautiful ache, seeing just how much of my soul you can take. 'Cause you were my favorite pain, the one I didn't wanna heal, the only sharp thing that made me feel real. I'd take your shadow over anyone's sun, even knowing that I'd be the broken one. It's a bittersweet torture, a holy regret, the best kind of misery I haven't finished yet. Yeah, you were my favorite pain. I've got a pharmacy of memories to numb the sting, but I don't wanna miss a single jagged thing. I like the way your absence tastes like copper and salt. I like the way I can't figure out whose fault. Other people are kind, other people are sweet, but they don't make my heart skip a desperate beat. You're the thorn in my side that I've learned to adore, the only war I'd keep on fighting for. Break my heart again, just so I know it's there. Pull the oxygen right out of the winter air. If I'm bleeding, at least I'm not numb, waiting for the hammer of your love to come. 'Cause you were my favorite pain, the one I didn't wanna heal, the only sharp thing that made me feel real. I'd take your shadow over anyone's sun, even knowing that I'd be the broken one. It's a bittersweet torture, a holy regret, the best kind of misery I haven't finished yet. Yeah, you were my favorite pain. So hurt me one last time, make the agony feel like a rhyme. I'm not ready for the relief, I'm not ready for the end of the grief. You were the best, the worst, my favorite. The music ends. Frost is creeping up the window glass, like a silver cage is holding me inside. I watch the happy people as they pass, with nowhere left for my own heart to hide. The radio is playing songs of cheer, but the melody is sounding out of tune. The worst time of the very worst of years, to be staring at a lonely winter moon. We were supposed to sit beside the fire, watching all the sparks go flying higher, but you blew out the flame and walked away into the coldest kind of holiday. 'Cause you left me in December, in the freezing dark, left me in the snow without a single spark, when the world was turning gold and evergreen. You were the sharpest winter wind I'd ever seen. No happy ever after, just a goodbye in the sleet, leaving frozen footprints on a quiet city street. I always remember how you left me in December. I found the gift I bought you in the hall, wrapped in paper that I'll never get to tear. I'm standing in the shadows of it all, breathing in the bite of mountain air. How could you choose a season of the light to cast me out into a permanent night, to leave me with the ghost of used to be underneath a bare and skeletal tree? 'Cause you left me in December, in the freezing dark. Left me in the snow without a single spark, when the world was turning gold and evergreen. You were the sharpest winter wind I'd ever seen. No happy ever after, just a goodbye in the sleep, leaving frozen footprints on a quiet city street. I'll always remember how you left me in December. January's coming with its empty white sleigh, but it can't wash away the heavy end of fate. February's lonely, but it's nothing like the chill of the way you left me standing perfectly still. The ice is getting thicker, the fire's gone to gray. I'm waiting for the spring to take the hurt away, but I'm still shivering, I'm still in the cold December.